The new McCrispy Strip is here. Dip approved by ketchup, tangy barbecue, honey mustard, Sprite, McFlurry, Big Mac sauce, double dipped in buffalo and ranch, more ranch, and creamy chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Now at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
You better not have no plans tonight.
Movie time and it's feeling right.
You're looking for a love that lasts. Find it at Romance in the Podcast. Ooh, ooh, baby, had me at hello. Ooh, I love you.
I know.
Ooh, ooh, baby, you're the wind beneath my wings. Ooh, ah, I'll have what she's having.
Thank you for tuning into Romancing the Pod. You had us at hello. I'm Paige Wesley.
And I'm Todd Schlosser. And this week, Paige made us watch the erotic thriller Bound. Paige, was this the first time you saw Bound?
It was, and my life will never be the same. All I want to watch from now on are lesbian mob movies. Between this and Love Lies Bleeding, this is my new favorite genre of film. And please send me all your recommendations for more of them. I am obsessed.
Man, if you had asked me, hey, what do you think the Wachowskis were doing right before The Matrix? I wouldn't have guessed a lesbian noir 1940s throwback gangster movie, but man, did I love it.
Oh, I mean, this movie has everything. Jennifer Tilly, Gina Gershon, young Christopher Maloney with hair and great suits.
Oh, yes.
And gore, murders, like a great caper. Like, I fucking loved this movie. I loved it so hard.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really do love the 1940s noir of it all.
Even though it's definitely, I love that it's modern day, but
well, modern day is the 90s, but
as the 90s, yeah.
It's definitely not 2025.
No, but structured and played like a 1940s noir.
Yes.
But done, there is so much cool camera work in this movie. And this is a very small movie with only a handful of locations, a handful of characters.
Yeah.
Very, very much like a classic noir where who do you trust? Who's doing what? Which moving pieces are where? And it basically takes place in 2 apartments.
That are next door to each other.
There's not a lot of movement to create excitement and interest. And they're doing so much with the camera and the movement of the sets and the positioning of the camera and cool shots to generate interest in a very tough environment to do that in. This is a very well-made movie.
Yeah.
Incredible.
They made The Matrix right after this.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But this...
They know what they're doing.
I did see Speed Racer. But most of the time, yes.
They kind of know what they're doing. I mean, they were about to hit their biggest movie franchise.
And admittedly, the first Matrix I think is the best one. It's really, really great. Love it.
By far, yeah.
But a movie like The Matrix, you've got a ton of money, a ton of space, a ton of sets, a ton of everything. This movie has fucking nothing and they make it so interesting.
Yeah. I mean, because it's a good story.
I was never bored. All the characters have interesting and grounded motivations. This, I feel is a very realistic depiction of the mob, where it's not necessarily flashy. It's just men holding on for dear life and having these very anxious relationships with each other.
It really seems like the worst job you could ever have.
Yes.
Because at any moment, your employee or your boss could murder you.
Yes.
Without even being put on a performance action plan. You know what I'm saying? It is the worst job you could ever have.
Well, and I feel because I'd heard of this movie before we did it, right? It comes up all the time on lists of hot sex scenes, but also whenever I was Googling lesbian romance, because we try to intermix stuff on the show so it's not always just straight people, right?
Yeah.
And so I was aware of this movie, and I feel like the lesbian subplot is the only thing people talk about. And it's definitely a huge part of the movie. And it's a fascinating, really grounded, emotional character study part of the movie. But what no one talks about is that this is a fucking good mob movie. Like, if you like mob movies, like if you like Goodfellas, watch this fucking movie. Oh my God. I loved it. This is the best part of my day.
This feels like if Mamet wrote Goodfellas.
Kinda, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very like small. It's like literally 2 apartments. Like, that's the entire set, Yes. It just feels like a stage play version of Goodfellas.
Obsessed.
Because like the mob plot is really interesting. You get to see, I think it's Whistler, the guy from The Matrix who you can't trust way before they reveal you can't trust him.
Yeah, Joe Pantoliano.
Yeah. You're like, oh, he's definitely going to be a bad dude anytime he's on the screen.
Yeah.
But I also love him. Like, he's like one of those actors where like, yeah, he's a character actor. You don't see him a ton. But when you do see him, you're like, oh, he's going to be a bad guy and I'm in good hands because he's going to be entertaining, And he delivers on that in this movie for sure. But also like, all of the mob guys, even Christopher Maloney, who looks like he was just kicked out of Boyz II Men in this movie.
Here for it. I'm so fucking here for it.
Those suits, I loved them. I was like, oh my God.
Him being evil only made it better. I was like, oh, yes.
But not evil, like second generation, like gonna be the generation that breaks it by far. Like, it's so clear. He was like spoiled and like...
He's a mob nepo baby.
Yes. Yeah. And honestly, I'm not saying it's good that he got shot, but he was going to get himself shot at some point because he was a stone cold, beautiful idiot. I'll just say it. He made those suits work, Paige.
So much. This movie is the epitome of something that I have hanging on the wall in my office where I write, which is just small stories told well. Where it's like, don't go for the big Marvel ending. Don't do like, what is the grounded emotional story between 2 people that is going to attach your audience to it? What is your small story told well? And that is this movie. It's a small story told well. I fucking love it. This is such a good movie. I enjoy it.
It is fun. I mean, anytime Jennifer Tilly's on screen, I'm into.
So much.
I honestly, it's great to see her in a movie on this podcast and on her other one. Because we do a lot of the stuff that she's done in that genre.
Okay, but imagine, at one point in the movie, I thought, what if you recast and it's just her Chucky, Bride of Chucky doll version, everyone else is the same?
Wait, what if Caesar is just Italian for Chucky, and then we just replace both of them?
Oh, give it to me with her and Chucky as Caesar and Violet,
but as their like puppet version.
Yes.
And everyone's playing it like it's Muppets Christmas Carol. Like, it's so serious.
Yes, where no one recognizes that they're puppets. They're just characters in the world.
Right.
Yes. 100 times yes. Those sex scenes about to get real weird.
I promise I will never die. I'm sorry. That's just the other puppet sex scene, I guess we'll call it.
Yes. Bonjour. Everything is bon.
I just want to see like Gina Gershon like being hyper serious next to a puppet.
100%.
Just like Michael Caine did when he took that red scarf from that ridiculous looking Muppet. And I love that moment. It makes me cry every time. But man, it's insane how much he's feeling in that moment. It makes me laugh every time.
I do love, and for those of you who, after we did Love Lies Bleeding, told us about this movie and compared the two, you're very right. This is like comparatively the character of Lou in Love Lies Bleeding and the character of Corky in Bound are very, very similar. They're kind of more rough and tumble, more mask, like women who have a criminal secret that doesn't get revealed till later. And I kind of love it. Like, they're fascinating characters. And then they are paired with a woman who loves them, but is also in a desperate situation. Like, give me 1 million of these. I'm going to force people to watch this movie because they're going to be like, the lesbian sex one. I'm going to be like, yes, and it's great, and there's a mob movie, and Christopher Maloney has hair, and I don't know what else I need to tell you to sell you on it, but it's great.
Everyone should watch this movie, if for no other reason than to see what the people who made The Matrix did before they made The Matrix. Because, of course, there were essence of genius in that. And it is.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely think, like, the shots page you mentioned are so cool.
So cool.
The one where he gets shot, I'm spoiler alert, but Caesar gets shot and he spilled out the paint so he could get to the money. And it's just like the blood landing in the paint as he falls to the ground. It's like a beautiful shot. I love it. And I do have to say, like, I don't think this movie works if it's a male love interest for Jennifer Tilly.
Right, not at all.
I don't think it works, and I'll tell you why it doesn't work. I know Jennifer Tilly's coming on strong because, like, I saw her doing it to somebody else. Like, she's coming on to Gina Gershon super hardcore every time she sees her until, like, they, like, have sex.
Mm-hmm.
A guy never would have picked up on that.
Oh.
They'd have been like, I don't know, she just seems nice. I would have completely missed it. I'd have been like, I don't know. She seems lonely, but yeah, I mean, she just needed me to fix something in her sink.
Okay, two things. One, my favorite shot is when he shoots Gino and Gino slow falls back onto the red floor.
Like he's Michael Jackson about to ask Annie if she's okay?
Yes.
Paige, I loved it too.
The only time I've seen a shot like that done better was in the Coen Brothers' Blood Simple, where someone falls backwards from one scene to a completely other location scene, and it looks incredible.
The Coen Brothers and I realize it's not this anymore, but they were like
the Wachowski siblings, yes.
Yes. But at the time it was like the brothers, and they weren't even like competing, but they were like both releasing bangers at the same time.
Yeah.
And it was like these family duos, right, that were just crushing it in movies. I was like, it was a very cool time to be alive.
Honestly, yeah, a lot of great movies from this period.
I love the Coen Brothers too, yeah.
But I had thoughts that maybe Gina Gershon's not the first and that Shelley was the first.
Paige, Shelley definitely is the first.
Mm-hmm,
yes, we hear them having sex. Also, Shelley and Jennifer and her Tillys are definitely having sex, just to be clear.
Yes, yeah,
we also do
yeah.
see Gina Gershon and Jennifer and her Tillys have sex.
Of course.
Many times in this movie. But, Paige, I want to pitch to you one moment that happens at the end of this movie that completely changes the end.
Yes.
And I would have lost my mind.
Go for it.
So they've gotten away with it.
Yes.
They get in the brand new truck, and Gina Gershon's character goes, "You know the difference between you and me, Violet?" And what she actually says in the scene is, "Not a damn thing," or whatever.
Yeah.
But if Gina Gershon had said, "I know my real name," and then pulled out a gun and shot her,
oh, fuck.
I would have lost my mind. And like credits right there, like, oh my God, what has happened? I would have lost my mind.
Okay, that would have been crazy. Now, the alternate flip would have been if Jennifer Tilly had done the same.
Oh, it could have been either one, honestly.
Either one.
Whoever did it had to ask that question, right?
Right,
And it
right,
just happened
right.
to be Gina Gershon in the movie. But yeah, it could have been either one. Although it would have made more sense because of Violet's trajectory that it would be her.
I also had a moment where they come back into the room, all the paint is there, and the bags of money are gone. And if she had just been gone, I would have been like,
Gina Gershon, you mean?
Yeah.
Which, like, okay, Paige, you've had sex with this lady twice. You don't know her. She's mobbed up. I probably would have taken the money and run too.
And she trouble.
Yeah.
She trouble. I might have taken that money and ran.
I definitely would have. That's, what was it? 2.76?
2.176.
2.176.
$2,176,000.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, so if you adjust that for inflation from 1996, which I guess is when this movie is supposed to take place, because that's when it came out, that's like $4.5 million. So, yeah, I probably would have left Jennifer and her Tillys.
Yeah. I had a lot of thoughts, and completely different from something like Unfaithful, where I was like, this crime is bad. You're doing bad at crime. This movie, I felt like there were so many different options for the way the crime could go. And I felt myself thinking about like, okay, I'm Jennifer Tilly. What's my next move? Like, who do we kill? Why do we kill them? Who do we tell what to get away with what we're going to get away with? And when she pulled that phone out in the elevator and called Mickey, I was like, this bitch a fucking genius.
Yep.
I'm like, oh my God, holy shit. She is playing 7D chess.
I think they just eventually move it up to E, right? Like if there's so many Ds, they just call it an E and call it a day, right?
In my experience, it's like D, double D, triple D, triple D, F, F, G.
I mean,
yeah.
well then Jennifer Tilly's definitely playing F chess is all we're saying.
She's playing F chess.
Yeah.
Oh, I just want to dive in and talk about this movie. Do you want to go scene by scene?
I mean, yeah, let's just go through this movie scene by scene. It's pretty great.
My job for the next 2 hours is just to convince you to watch this movie that you wouldn't maybe necessarily know about from 1996, but you need to because it's great. Okay, so we get some of the wildest credits I've ever seen that seem like they are meaningless and then they mean everything.
No, Paige, I knew in the instant I saw them, I was like, oh, this is going to be a 1940s noir detective piece. And because you had told me it was a love story between two women,
right,
I knew it was going to be probably no detective or one of them would be a detective or whatever.
Right.
But no, it is so noir right up front. I loved it.
It is, but okay, so it's designed like a 1940s noir where it's like heavy contrast, harsh lights and shadows.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, what am I looking at here? And then you get the title that says Bound. But then as we kind of move through the title, we're moving through the clothes in a closet.
Yeah.
To reveal Gina Gershon bound and gagged on the floor of this closet, hearing and like replaying things from earlier in the movie. Because we are starting out in medias res, like at essentially the end of the second act is where we are starting.
Yeah, this movie all but does I bet you're wondering how I got here. In order for me to tell you that story, we got to start with a week ago. Cut to a week ago. Like, it's pretty much that. But it's in a very cool noir kind of 1940s detective movie. Yeah. But instead of a detective, it's these two ladies who find love.
Right. Because we cut to, and I do think it's like a week, maybe 2 weeks in the past, where she and Jennifer Tilly and Jennifer Tilly's husband, Caesar, are in the elevator of their apartment building. And for me, it's obvious, but you're right. A man might not have picked up on this. Who knows? Some men be perceptive.
I definitely wouldn't have. I'm like notoriously bad. Unless I'm like interested in you and I'm pursuing you, I apparently miss all the signs.
But Jennifer Tilly is like, I fucking Gina Gershon, where it's like, oh, there is chemistry.
Oh, yeah. Paige, I wrote this down. I was like, okay, that's the first meet cute I've ever seen where there was no words.
No words.
But like Jennifer Tilly was saying so much with her eyes.
Oh, there's no dialogue in this scene, but within the confines of a less than 20-second elevator ride, you fully understand that Jennifer Tilly is married to this guy and has designs on other people outside of him, and that person is Gina Gershon. And Gina Gershon returns those affections in 20 seconds with just looks and cuts. Brilliantly done.
It's really well done, yeah.
That's how this movie is only a little over 90 minutes and conveys so much. Like, they're killing it.
Yeah.
But we cut to the 10th floor where they all get out because it turns out they are what? Neighbors, sort of, because Jennifer Tilly and her husband go to one apartment, and then Gina Gershon looks at the key ring on the keys that she has, and it says apartment 1003. And so she goes to unlock it. It is the apartment next door.
Literally. Like Jennifer Tilly's apartment with her husband Caesar is just like further down the hall. It's like the next one down the hall.
Right. Now, the apartment that Gina Gershon goes into is clearly in disarray. A longtime tenant has moved out. They're refurbing it for the next person to move in. She is the handyman. So we see her on a phone call with Mr. Bianchini, who we never meet. He is just a voice in the phone. But she's like, yeah, I'll snake the drain. I'll do all these things. So she's kind of working and redoing the apartment. And then she ends that phone call with saying, hey, thanks again for the opportunity. Thanks for letting me work here, which tells us that like she was in need of a job and maybe could only get one through recommendations. We'll find out why later.
Yeah.
But we cut to her snaking the tub, super gross, but much like Lou unclogging that toilet in Love Lies Bleeding. I honestly, now that I have seen this,
I wonder if it's a reference.
I think it is an homage.
Yeah.
I think the Love Lies Bleeding one is an homage to this.
Yeah. Although that one's way grosser because it's like a toilet with her hand.
Yeah, it's real nasty. But The next morning, and I should say, while she's snaking the drain, while she's on the phone with Mr. Bianchini, the whole time she's hearing Jennifer Tilly and her husband have sex through the walls.
Yeah.
Establishing that the walls are very, very thin and sound travels, specifically sound travels through the drains, the toilets, the tubs, and that will be important later.
Oh, wait, Paige.
Yes.
I should reveal at this point that while I was waiting for you, I wrote a bunch of 1940s detective things about
Let's go.
things that happened in the movie. So I'm going to cue up a little music and I'm just going to read this one to you, and it's going to be terrible, and we're going to do this bit one time and then I'll cut it.
Or I will improv some versions of it. Go ahead.
The walls in that place were paper thin. Secrets leaked through them like cheap gin through a napkin.
She walked in with legs up to her armpits, and boy, if I couldn't see the smoke coming off of her. Yeah, great.
I had the benefit of being able to write it for you.
Yeah, we'll keep doing them. It'll be fun.
Okay. I do have others. I have alts. Yeah, it's fine.
I'm assuming that the music you're going to put in is the saxophone,
Oh yeah, it's for sure going to be like the 40s
Yes.
detective noir shit. Yeah.
Love this.
You're going to think you're watching a VHS in the Home Alone universe.
Incredible. We cut to the next day. Gina Gershon's back working in the apartment, and Jennifer Tilly comes to the door with a cup of coffee for her and basically says, hey, I am kind of a night owl. Could you start the power tools later in the day? Because it is kind of waking me up. And she's like, yeah, no problem. I can do that. But there's a whole lot of context here of I guessed that you had black coffee and oh, do you drive an old car too? It's very flirty.
Yeah.
Very, very flirty.
I mean, it is like every porn you've ever seen. It's like she's coming on so strong that Gina Gershon can't not know that she wants to bone.
Yeah. I also love, and this is I feel like it is the female gaze before I think we had a name for that truly in the way that we represent some sexual things on screen. Because it's in this scene that we just get a close-up of Gina Gershon's hands while she's working on stuff. And they're kind of greasy and strong.
It's while Jennifer Tilly's talking about them.
Yeah. And I am a hand person. I love strong hands. Big fan. And I was like, ooh, okay. In a way, I felt like it was an indication that this was a lesbian relationship on screen played for women and not just played for salaciousness. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would agree. I think it is sexualizing what the intended viewer of that relationship
Sure.
would want to see sexualized, if that makes sense.
Yes, because it's hands, forearms. I was like,
yeah,
yes. And she makes the comment about, I bet you drive a 20-year-old car. And she's like, yeah, it's a 63 Chevy. And she's like, yep. Which, by the way, my husband also insists on driving old cars. His car is the same one I drove in high school, and I'd be old. So it is a little over 20 years old.
It's a classic.
It's a classic. It's covered in bumper stickers. We love it. But she leaves Gina Gershon with the coffee and says, you could drop off the cup anytime.
Yeah.
Basically giving her a reason to go to Jennifer Tilly's apartment.
Yes.
A leave behind. Anyway, we cut to Gina Gershon goes to a lesbian bar, which I will say this is the most subdued and orderly lesbian bar I've ever been to. Not much of a party is going on in this place. It's a lot of people huddled in booths talking closely, but you do you. But she's clearly been there before. She knows the bartender. And the bartender's like, man, it's a long time since I've seen you. How long has it been? Gina Gershon says 5 years and 16 days, which at first made me think she was sober and had been counting.
Oh, no. I you could tell because it's pretty clear.
Yes.
She's an ex-con. Yeah.
Yeah. Within minutes, you're like, oh, no, wait. That's how long she was in. She's been incarcerated. But she buys a drink. She sits down at a booth with a woman in leather, and the woman seems very interested. They literally just kind of share a glance and a hello, and who should walk up but the woman that I assume either has designs on this other woman in leather or is dating her, and reveals themselves to be a cop.
Yeah.
And says to Gina Gershon, oh, I didn't know you were out. And I was like, aha, the 5 years and 16 days. I get it now. But Gina Gershon doesn't fight it, but gets up to leave and then turns to the woman in leather and says, when you get tired of Cagney and Lacey, come find me, which is such a bar. Like, just to drop it on is so good.
I don't think we ever see that cop's face, and that to me
Never.
is funny.
Never.
We see their badge and hear their line sort of delivered off screen.
Yes.
And then that's it.
Hilarious. Not okay. Here's the crazy part. I don't think we really see their face. I think we see them kind of from behind as they walk up. But then we see that they are not dressed as a cop. They're dressed to be out that night at the bar, but then still lift like they're an undercover cop.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, again, masterfully shot.
Paige, I'm only saying this because it would have been great if they revealed it was Miss Doubtfire. Anyway.
Oh, hello. But we cut to Gina Gershon at home playing her mouth harp, kind of sleeping alone. But the implication is that maybe she's thinking about Jennifer Tilly, who she can hear through the walls.
I mean, I assume that's what she was thinking because that's all you can hear. Like that and her jaw harp or whatever those things are called.
Yep. Now we cut to the next day where she is painting the ceiling of the apartment next stairs and playing the stereo, and the phone rings, and it is Mr. Bianchini asking her to help out next door because she hasn't returned the mug yet. And so Jennifer Tilly, I think, got a little anxious and called the super to have her come over. She goes next door, and we find out that Jennifer Tilly has dropped an earring down the drain and wants her to help fish it out, which, as someone who has dropped things down drains, it had never occurred to me to take the U-pipe out and dump it. But that's absolutely, yeah, of course stuff would fall down there. That's brilliant.
I mean, that's what she does.
That is what she does. They find the earring. And nothing else in the drain, by the way, which was, I think, a dead giveaway. That she had not been doing dishes. She hadn't been doing anything. It was just clear water in that earring.
Yeah, she definitely just dropped it in. She admits to it later, though. I mean,
she does, yeah. But she gets the earring out and she's like, thank you so much. Can I at least buy you a drink? Like, if you won't let me pay you, let me buy you a drink. And she's like, all right, how about a beer? Great. She gets her a beer and she's sitting kind of close and is like, do I make you nervous? And Gina Gershon, baller as hell, is like, no, curious. Like, what's your game, lady? I know that you're with that other guy. I can hear you having sex. Like, come on. She does reference her tattoo, which would indicate that Gina Gershon likes ladies.
This is definitely a sign I would have missed.
I would have missed it too. It's one of those things that I feel like I know now after watching this film, but previously would not have caught. There are some things that I might have clocked, but
yeah,
not that. But then I love that Jennifer Tilly is like, I have a tattoo. Do you want to see it? And it's literally like the side of her boob.
Yeah.
And is like, it had hurt really bad when they first did it, but now I love the feel of it. You should feel it. And like literally puts Gina Gershon's hand there.
Yeah, we're 15 minutes into the movie and we're about to get into it.
Oh, yeah. And at this point, she's like, what are you doing? And Jennifer Tilly's like, trying to seduce you.
Yes, stupid. Like, I'm trying to fuck. What are you doing?
Which I think Gina Gershon was asking a question that she already knew the answer to.
Yeah.
For sure. But I think she's like, I need you to vocalize it, because I think what Gina Gershon is trying to ask in this moment is like, is this a fling for you? Are you trying to make your husband jealous? Or is this something that you are actually into? And I'm trying to get a read on it.
Right.
Much like in Love Lies Bleeding, where she's like, are you just a straight girl, like taking a vacation, basically?
Right. And that's definitely what Jennifer Tilly seems in this moment, at least, because she is like just trying to blow up her marriage, it seems, Well,
can I tell you what I think? And the movie's very subtle about it, but can I tell you what I think Jennifer Tilly's like plan and everything is? Because I think it's a lot bigger than what we see in the movie, but I think the movie gives us a lot of clues.
Hit me. What is it?
I think Jennifer Tilly was sleeping with Shelley so that he would steal the money. Like that was always her plan to get out, right?
For sure.
But I think she has now caught on to the fact that Shelley is probably going to get caught somehow. And now she needs someone else to help her steal that money. Now, do I think Jennifer Tilly is straight? No.
Me either.
I do think Jennifer Tilly is at minimum bi, if not any number of pansexual and kind of using people for what she needs.
That's what it seems like to me.
Right? Again, similar to Love Lies Bleeding, this idea of like, Jennifer Tilly contains multitudes, essentially.
Yeah.
But the main thing is getting that money. I'd be really curious to think about how long she and Corky stay together after. I don't know. I do think there's genuine affection there, but like...
Me too. I could see it like lasting a while, but only because the amount of trust they would have in you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You could have run with the equivalent of $4.5 million.
Right.
And you didn't. And you've known this person a week.
Yeah. So Gina Gershon starts fingering her.
Well, because Jennifer Tilly, in what I can only call 90s ASMR, says, you can't believe what you see, but you can believe what you feel.
Yep.
And then puts her hand in her vagina.
Right. And thus ensues a lengthy fingering scene.
Yeah. And remember who's doing the fingering, right? Gina Gershon is fingering Jennifer Tilly.
Right.
That's going to become important later in this scene when we play the game of Where's That Hand Been?
Yes. So while she's fingering Jennifer Tilly, she gets her to admit, you dropped that earring down the sink on purpose.
And Jennifer Tilly says yes in a very seductive way, but delivers it like, duh.
Well, but... she does it. She's like, if I say yes, will you remove your hand? And she says no. And then she goes, yes.
Yeah.
Like, duh.
Yeah.
They start kissing. They start, I would say, start having sex.
They're definitely in the beginning stages of a full-on fuckfest. Yes.
Yes. Who should walk in but her husband?
Cesar.
Cesare. Caesar walks in.
I do love that the Italian guys, he calls him Cesare. Yeah.
Yep.
Like he's a Borgia.
Ooh. But her husband is immediately like, the fuck is this? Like, who the fuck is this guy? And then Corky stands up, revealing that it is Gina Gershon. And he's like, oh, that's fine then.
And they did meet, right?
No.
Or no, they haven't met yet. They meet in this scene, but he does know she's over there doing work, right?
No. He completely ignored her in the elevator, did not register her at all.
Gotcha.
And I think it's very poignant the way that they do it in this scene, where the second it's revealed that Corky is a woman, he is no longer threatened by her.
At all. He's like, woo!
When he absolutely should be. Like,
oh, thank God, it's just a woman.
Yes.
That is his vibe.
Where it's like, a woman could never steal my wife. And it's like, she gonna steal a lot more than your wife, bro.
Man, she was just knuckles deep. The hand you are shaking, that's right. Gina Gershon shakes his hand with the hand she was just fingering his wife with.
Immediately.
And it made me laugh. Also, if you follow that hand 2 more seconds in the scene, he like wipes his face with it.
Yeah.
And it just made me laugh. I was like, there's no way this wasn't like a choice by somebody.
No. I'm trying to find a non-phallic descriptive word, because the only thing I can think is like baller move, or she just big dicked him. And I'm like,
Paige, it's big ovary energy.
I was gonna say she big labia, that fool. Like,
it is great.
Labes for days.
I loved it.
But she one-ups him without him even knowing it. It is a domination like move, and I fucking loved that.
But it has to have been someone like either the actor in the scene or the director, whoever it was, like someone made that choice. Studio note. Honestly, Paige, if we were ever running studio, those are the kind of notes I'd get. Be like, hey, can you shake her husband's hands with the hand you were fingering her with? Great. That'd be great. It's hilarious. No, don't say anything. Just do it.
More fingering on screen. One of my favorite finger moments like that was in last season of Bridgerton, where Colin is fingering her and then he goes to adjust her dress and conspicuously leaves 2 fingers out of his hand as he adjusts her dress so he's not touching her dress with the fingers. Attention to detail.
Honestly, a lot of like Bridgerton era stuff is like lousy with finger movies, like tons fingering. Like, especially because it's like so popular to have like those finger foods at those events. So it's just like tons of that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He wants to get all up in that cucumber sandwich. But she meets Caesar and he's like, oh, is Rajiv gone? Because Rajiv was the guy working in the apartment before her. So now he knows that she's working next door.
Right.
And he pays her a few $100s of a tip.
Yeah.
At that point, I was like, oh, he's mafia. Like, he's mafia. He's buying her silence. And he says, if you don't take it, I'm going to have to worry about you.
Which, like, I would fully take that money. I would never not take that money. I would have taken the money before he insisted. The second he pulled out any money, I would have said, yes, please, we'll take some and go. Thank you.
Thank you.
I got to wash my hands. I'll see you later.
Yeah, I got to clean up my brushes.
Man, I was shocked when she said that, and then it cut to, like, her cleaning out her
cleaning the brushes.
I thought that was like a euphemism because she didn't get hers or something. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh my God, that wasn't a euphemism. Oh, okay.
I think it serves both purposes because essentially she cleans up and we get another shot of her hands, obviously, like to kind of sexualize her hands and forearms.
Yeah.
She goes and loads up her truck, hops in it to go home, and who should hop in the other side but Violet, aka Jennifer Tilly. And she's like, I'm sorry. And she's like, you don't have to apologize. And she's like, no. I'm not apologizing for wanting sex. I'm apologizing for what I didn't do, which was make sure you get yours.
Right.
And like, they make out and she's like, do you got a bed somewhere? And she's like, yes. They go back to Gina Gershon's place, and this is 2 and 3 on the roar scale.
It's up there.
This is up there.
Yeah, it's sexy. It is sexy.
It is up there.
I gotta be honest with you, ladies, if you're ever trying to seal the deal and the guy you're trying to like pick up or person you're trying to pick up is not like picking up the signals, asking, hey, do you got a bed somewhere is a baller way to be like, let's go fuck.
Let's go.
When Jennifer Tilly said that, I was like, she knows what this person is very good at the pickup artistry. That would have worked on anybody.
Pro tip. I'm like, Jennifer Tilly will get whatever and whoever she wants. Like, dead ass.
Almost anybody would. Like, that's a baller ass move. Like, if you're at that
That's a baller
stage and you're
move.
like, right, like, Gina's been knuckles deep. Like, there's definitely some like sexual chemistry here, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do want to note, because I think this is a first for Romancing the Pod, because it's not something typically depicted in sex scenes. And this is something they had to fight with the ratings board on. But this movie very obviously and visually depicts scissoring, not normally seen in movies. But yeah, this is the rating board wanted them to cut it, and they were like, nah.
Of course the rating board wanted him to cut it. The rating board would have wanted him to cut anything other than, oh, they're having sex. So like, is there not a guy who's going to come in and how could they have sex without a guy? Like, the ratings board is stupid. It's so dumb. I hate the ratings board so much.
I'm like, what's more obscene, this or seeing Bruce Willis's dick?
I personally don't think either is obscene. I don't care.
Sure.
Like, whatever. But yeah.
I mean, I would agree with you. These are movies for grown-ups. You can choose to see it or not. Like, that's,
But guys,
Yeah.
see both for different reasons. This is a great movie. That movie shows you for a fact that Bruce Willis had an agent that could read a script, and sometimes he didn't take that agent's advice.
Truth. Anyway, we cut to the next day where they're kind of like afterglowing, which, by the way, it is fully the next day. Does her husband care where she is? Seemingly no.
It doesn't seem like a love match anymore, Paige. I see what you're saying, and I agree.
I also think that he is, because he's mafia, right? So he's working, air quotes, like all hours of the day, killing people, doing a bunch of shit. We find out that he's a money launderer at times, literally.
Paige, when we get like money dry cleaning for like 3 minutes in this movie, I was
Love
like,
it.
oh shit, nice.
Obsessed.
It's almost like the person who wrote this didn't know that money laundering doesn't mean actually doing laundry with your money.
Here's the crazy thing, though. Yes and no, right? Because when they talk about him laundering money early in the movie, they mean it in the actual crime sense,
of course,
that he is running shell businesses,
yes,
right, to clean that money.
Yeah, he is like the on-paper owner for the businesses that are like laundromats and like cash businesses, right, where they can launder the money that they make illegally through.
Right, exactly.
But at some point in this movie, he dry cleans a bunch of money that's got blood on it. And I realize you'd have to do that.
You'd have to.
But it's funny.
It is funny. And I do love that their first plan is to put it through the washer in the laundromat, like to literally wash it, and this is something that if you're not from America, you might not know this. So for our international listeners, American money is actually fabric, not paper.
Yeah, it's like made of almost like blue jean material.
Yes. Yeah. Where it feels like paper, but it is actually technically fabric. And so you can wash it. Everything he does to that money is possible. Where he washes it, like hangs it up to dry and then irons it. That's all possible. And you would have to do that to do what they do with the money. And so it was like, I thought it was funny that we got laundering in the like colloquial sense, but also the very literal sense.
Yes, it was very funny.
Anyway, so they're pillow talking the morning after, and Gina Gershon says, hey, so your husband's mafia, right? And she's like, do you have to ask? And she's like, no, I already know. I'm just confirming.
Right.
But what's the deal there? And she's like, well, nobody calls it mafia anymore. It's just the business, which is true. My great-great-grandfather and other mafia members just called it the business. But the way that she and Caesar met is that he took over a club she was working at. Clubs are frequent mob fronts because, again, cash businesses.
Yeah.
Right? And this is where you find out he's a launderer. They've been together like 5 years. And Gina Gershon is like 5 years, long time, because that's how long she was in prison.
Yep.
And tells Jennifer Tilly about it. And she's like, so how did you end up in prison? And she says, the redistribution of wealth, which basically means she's a thief. And she's like, I say that to people to get them into bed. And she's like, well, I'm already in your bed. And she's like, yeah, my cellmate used to say that she was in for getting caught, which is a great line. I love that.
It's actually true as well. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Summer's here, and Mint Mobile is bringing the skimpy to your wireless bill, which honestly would have been a lifesaver for that poor woman in 50 First Dates. You know the one. She wakes up every morning with no memory of the day before, and this guy out here is just building waffle log cabins and faking car accidents to try and make her fall in love with him every single day. Like, bro, that's not sweet. That's like a huge red flag umbrella on the beach. Instead, she wakes up married, kidnapped, and carrying, all while floating through international waters like she's married to a Bond villain. If she had Mint Mobile, Samwise could have sent her a quick, don't trust the dude in cargo shorts text, or at least she could have checked her group chat and realized she's in the middle of a rom-com horror story. Plans start at just $15 a month and come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text, and coverage on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone, keep your number, and save your wallet, and possibly your dignity. So avoid the emotional and financial manipulation and get your summer savings at mintmobile.com/romancingthepod. That's mintmobile.com/romancingthepod. Upfront payment for $45 for 3 months, 5 gigabyte plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. You know what, Paige? Summer's here, and you know what doesn't belong in your summer plans? Getting burned by your old wireless bill. While you're planning beach trips, barbecues, and 3-day weekends, the last thing you should be stressing over is things like data overages. That's why I made the switch to Mint Mobile. With plans starting at just $15 a month, Mint Mobile gives you premium wireless service on the nation's largest 5G network. That means the coverage and speed you're used to, but for way less money. I use it, and you should too. Honestly, if Beth, you know, Michael Douglas's wife from Fatal Attraction, if she had Mint Mobile, she could have avoided getting blindsided by the whole affair that stupid Michael Douglas was having. She could have avoided having an awkward conversation in her own home with a Glenn Close who's just asking too many questions. Oh yeah. And she could have avoided the whole rabbit named Stu situation. Maybe Glenn Close doesn't boil the bunny if Beth gets a warning text, hey, there's a crazy person who's super obsessed with your husband because he's a dirtbag. I don't know. I'm not a therapist. I'm just saying Mint Mobile could have saved lives, at least bunny lives. So this year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get your summer savings and shop premium wireless plans at mintmobile.com/romancingthepod. That's mintmobile.com/romancingthepod. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, 5 gigabyte plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for the first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
We cut to the next day. Gina Gershon is working in the apartment again, or rather, she's gathering stuff from her truck to load into the apartment. She passes a guy on the phone downstairs trying to buzz up.
Yeah.
And he's begging, Violet, just let me up for 2 minutes. And she sees him go up with her. Basically, he goes into Violet's apartment, so she knows he's there to see her. And she hears them have sex through the walls. Violet will categorize this as something different later. But obviously, Violet left Gina Gershon's bed moments ago, the same morning, right?
Yeah. I mean, she's got a few irons in the fire, right?
She does. And we see Gina Gershon hear this. She clearly feels some kind of way about it.
Yeah, I mean, I would be hang on a second. What is happening? I mean, I realized that,
Wait.
It was a one-night stand, and that's fine. Or it could have just been a one-night stand, and that's fine. Whatever.
Right.
But what is truly happening? That's all I would want to know. Yeah.
Right. And so we cut to the next night where she and Violet have hooked up, and she broaches this subject of hey, what's the deal? I heard you with that guy. And she's like, yeah, that was kind of a barter system thing. And he kind of knows that I prefer to sleep with women, but he was kind of in love with me and I was using him to get what I want.
Yeah.
So she all but admits to her being the mastermind of stealing that money. So this is kind of a fight between them. Gina Gershon is like, this is not what I'm here for. Violet's kind of like, don't judge me for my choices. Like, we've all had to pay prices. And this is where she says, like, all right, well, I'm going to leave. And she's like, try not to steal on the way out, which is hurt people.
Yeah. I think she's just like hurt, by the whole thing. And I kind of like the way she explains the prices. She's like, yeah, it's not like something I wanted to do, but it's like,
right.
It was a choice I made because it was whatever,
Right. But we cut to seemingly the same day, like not much longer, that Gina Gershon goes out. She's unloading her truck and she watches as a car drives in and young Chris Maloney gets out.
Yeah.
Leading Shelly, the guy that we saw at the phone, away with a bunch of other mafia guys. And I was like, oh, I think Shelly about to die.
I mean, he's being led in like a dead man walking. Like he's like a prisoner of them,
Yes. So she goes up, she's working on the plumbing, and she's overhearing them tuning up Shelly through the toilet. Specifically, the toilet is vibrating because they're literally smashing Shelly's head on the toilet over and over again.
Yes. And I thought it was wild that they made the toilets in these apartments more or less like a cannon string from like the
a walkie-talkie.
1940s. Yeah. I was like, the toilets are not cans on strings, guys. This is not how any of this works.
You can hear stuff through toilets, though, depending on how the plumbing is hooked up.
Paige, what does your toilet tell you? Like, if you're hearing voices from your toilet, you are insane. Like, that's in the DSM. That's gotta be in the DSM, Paige.
Not my toilet, because our toilets are on different walls. But if you have toilets that are on the same wall, which these toilets are, you can hear through them. Our old house it was like a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, and 2 of the baths were right next to each other so that you could hear. Yeah, you can. But it depends on your pipes and how your toilets are positioned. The way they've established this in the movie, and also I'm sorry if you can hear the thunderstorm outside. It's insanely loud in here, but we got to get through this. The way they have this set up is that the bathrooms share a wall.
Yes.
Which is very common in apartments.
Yeah.
Our bathroom in our old apartment shared a wall with the bathroom in our neighbor's apartment, so we could hear them sometimes. But as the camera pans over walls to show apartment to apartment, which is very cool, they do a great job of it.
Yeah.
We get a sense of the layout of both apartments. So the bathrooms are touching. But we cut over to Violet's bathroom, where Shelly about to die because like Detective Stabler done snapped on this one. Like he's beating the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And Violet is in the kitchen blending ice to try and hide the sound.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Mob wife shit,
Mob wife shit. Love the aesthetic. Hate the work, but Anyway, Violet's like, I'm leaving. You're about to kill a man with your bare hands in this apartment, and I'm never going to be able to sit on that toilet again. It's covered in blood. Like, this is bad. And it is brutal.
Yeah, they're cutting his fingers off with like garden shears and shit.
They haven't gotten to that point yet,
well,
right?
They're about to. Like, it happens
They're about
this scene.
to.
Yeah.
Like, in this scene, they're giving him the towel so he doesn't scream because he's being too loud. And they send Caesar to go get the garden shears, which will come back later. They're Chekhov's garden shears. But she says, I want to leave. I don't want to be here. Caesar's like, you please stay. And then Mickey comes out. And Mickey is kind of like one rung above Caesar. He's like Caesar's boss. And Caesar says to Mickey, why is Johnny here? I fucking hate that guy.
Yeah.
Johnny is Chris Maloney's character,
right,
who is very much a wild card, but also colorful suits, big shoulders, tall hair, 90s dream.
Literally just got kicked out of Boyz II Men. He is the son of the crime family boss that they all work for, though. So that's why they're always like, fuck, Nepo mobster, God, Nepo Don over here.
Here's what I'm going to ask you, because for Horror Virgin, The next movie we're going to watch, you and I will watch. I've already seen it. You have not.
Sinners.
You're gonna watch Sinners, and I'm not gonna tell you when or where, but there is a fantastic 90s look in Sinners. And I want to rank who wore it best, the look in Sinners or the insane suits that Chris Meloni has on in this movie.
This is like authentic to the time, though, because this came out in 96. Although I haven't seen Sinners, so we'll see.
So again, mini spoiler, the look in Sinners is authentic to the 90s as well. They found a very specific piece of clothing, and it is the most 90s thing that's ever happened.
Hell yeah.
There's only a handful of them left on Earth, and now people are like clamoring to find them for Halloween, I'm sure.
Love it.
Anyway, so they get the fingers, and they do the, we're going to ask you 10 times because that's how many fingers you have. And they start cutting fingers.
Yeah.
And I do love when that comes back later and when he tries to do it to Violet. But anyway, they're like, where's our money? They chop his finger off and they show it, man.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, this is brutal.
They like show the finger fall to the ground and you're like, that is a finger. Like fully.
Oof, yikes. And Violet, because Mickey comes out and is like, Violet, you don't forget what Caesar said. You don't need to stay here. Why don't you go out somewhere? Don't be here while this is happening.
Yeah.
So Violet goes next door, straight to Gina Gershon's arms, and Gina Gershon echoes what Mickey said, because Mickey's like, you all right, Violet? And she's like, no. And Gina Gershon's like, you all right, Violet? She's like, no. So they go get drinks. And this is where Violet breaks down what's happening. So Shelley was skimming from the business.
Yeah.
He wanted me to run away with him. I think it was partially her plan. We'll see. But he said it was about $2 million, but he got caught, and now there's nothing I can do about it, but I don't want to stay in. I want out. I want a new life, but I can't do it alone. I need your help to get this $2 million. You're a thief, so maybe you might know how to do it.
Yeah, you might have a skill set that might be helpful. And
Right.
Gina Gershon definitely does.
She definitely does, but I love Gina Gershon in this moment is like, I'm sorry, person I have slept with a handful of times and only known for a few days. You want me to fuck over the mob?
Right?
How about nah? Why don't you ask Shelley how that turned out for him? He's dead in your bathroom, by the way. We ain't doing this. We're not doing it.
I heard it all. Like, yeah.
Yeah, bad. And she's like, I think you're setting me up because I'm unconnected. No one would suspect me. You could deflect blame. And Jennifer Tilly's like, I get it, but like, please trust me. Like, this is how we could potentially do it. The money's going to be at our house tomorrow. We cut to her house the next day. Now, I love that as she's laying out the crime and what they're going to need to do, we're seeing the real time of like their timeline and how it gets messed up along the way. Right?
Yeah.
So their initial plan was when the money was there for them to count the money, they were going to switch the money out and replace it with a decoy. Simple, right? But the money comes back and it is covered in blood.
Well, because Christopher Meloni, Johnny or whatever, couldn't wait, so he blew Shelley's brains out all over it.
Yeah, I mean, Detective Stabler was unfortunately known for excessive force.
He's a hothead.
If you know your SVU. But yeah, so he blew his brains out and it's all over the money.
Yeah.
And so now they have to count and clean the money. They literally have to launder it. Now, as a part of that, because they shot Shelley and Caesar, Joe Pantoliano is like, we don't even know if this is all the money. Like, Shelley's never going to be able to tell us if he hid other money somewhere else. Like, this is all we're going to get because you fucking shot him. So he
Right.
punches Chris Meloni.
Yeah.
That will be important later.
And Christopher Meloni was like, yeah, sure, I shot the Shelley, but I did not shoot J. Tilly's.
No.
Nailed it.
He would never. He loves J. Tilly's.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? But they literally have to launder the money now, where they have to wash it in the sink, hang it up to dry, and then iron it. So they don't sleep at all. Jennifer Tilly's been up for hours trying to literally launder money.
She's had $2.176 million on the line in her apartment.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes. And they are in hundreds, but that's still so much money.
Yeah, that would be a shitload of actual paper bills, right?
Oh, yeah.
Speaking as someone who had $175,000 of fake money printed up, it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
I got hundreds and fifties though, so.
Nice. Anyway, we cut cut to Gina Gershon tied up. So now we know, because we saw this scene in the beginning, that things do not go their way.
No.
We then cut back to them literally ironing the money. And Jennifer Tilly saying, hey, I got to go to the store. She sneaks over to Gina Gershon's place, not the apartment next door, but Gina Gershon's actual apartment where she lives.
Right.
And is like, okay, this is what happened. We were up all night. And Gina Gershon's like, what's the deal with this Johnny? It's like, well, he's the son of Gino Marzone, who's the brother of Angelo Marzone out of Chicago. So they're coming tonight for the money. And Gina Gershon is like, oh, perfect. Has Johnny ever hit on you? And she's like, yeah, all the time. She's like, even better.
Yeah.
Does Caesar hate Johnny? Yes, they hate each other. Perfect. So how does the night typically play out when Gino's been over? Well, he drinks scotch and my husband's really nervous about it. So he's going to like leave time to get ready. And she's like, all right, I have a plan to make this work. And I love that they plan it out perfectly and it still goes wrong.
Yeah, I love Gina Gershon's plan. I love that she's like, well, I can't just create a plan. I kind of have to know everything about everyone who's involved.
Right.
And then I can develop the best plan possible. And so we get a lot of this like almost exposition through Gina Gershon asking very believable questions for what she's been asked to do in the scene.
Right.
Which I love because it makes the whole thing feel very like true
Right.
to like what would actually happen. And I really love the way we get into it because as Gina Gershon is sort of explaining the plan, we kind of cut to the plan.
Right.
And it's like a montage of her, Jennifer Tilly, sort of going through the plan. And then it like sort of picks up in the actual plan.
Right.
And we follow it from the point it sort of shit hits the flan, if you will.
Yes.
Plan, fan. Shit hits the fan. I combined
Yes.
plan and fan. And then I said,
Into a delicious flan.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Yes. But essentially, the plane is supposed to arrive at 7, which means they'll get to the house around 8. We will find out that the plane actually arrives around 7:30, but, you know, guesswork still works in their favor.
Yeah.
Because she basically greets her husband with a drink, Caesar, and is like, relax and unwind. You hang out here. I'll get the scotch. And then, oops, she drops the scotch, which means I have to go to the store for more scotch. I'll be back before you're even dressed. Don't even worry about it.
Right. And it had to be the scotch because that's the scotch that the...
Glenlivet.
Yeah.
Very expensive, fancy scotch.
But it's very specifically the scotch that the mob boss wants, right?
Yeah, Gino always drinks Glenlivet. Now, as Jennifer Tilly goes to the door, she lets Gina Gershon in so that she can slip in, pick the lock on the case of money, and switch it out for the folded newspapers below. I do want to note, Gina Gershon also has the coolest shit ever, which is a pair of lock-picking earrings.
Yes.
That she has all the different like skeleton keys on one ear. It's the coolest shit I've ever seen. I love it so much. I was like, do I need lockpick earrings? And I'm like,
Yes.
maybe.
Everybody does.
Everybody does. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
It was cool as shit. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I love jewelry that is also functional.
Same.
That's probably because I grew up just wearing a house key around my neck, though. So
I wear a house key on my ear just because it looks cool, though.
Yeah.
I have a keychain with real keys. Anyway.
you're an adult, Paige. I would be surprised if you didn't.
Right? You would be surprised.
Yeah.
But I'm full of surprises. Anyway.
Okay.
She picks the lock. She makes the switch. She gets back to the other apartment next door where she basically puts the bags of money into the cans of paint that she was using to paint the apartment so they can easily get them out of the apartment at any time and no one would suspect them.
Right.
Meanwhile, Jennifer Tilly comes back with the scotch and is like, hey, I just saw Johnny downstairs. Did I miss them? And Caesar's like, how could you have seen Johnny downstairs? The plane doesn't even land for 30 minutes. She's like, well, it had to be. Like, I know it's Johnny. I know it's him. And he wouldn't acknowledge me, but he drove off in his BMW. And like, you know, I didn't see Gino in the car, but like maybe he was here first. I don't know. And this leads Caesar to check the case.
Yeah.
Finding that there's no money, thinking that Johnny fucked him. Now, Gina Gershon and Jennifer Tilly's plan is for him to freak out and decide that he needs to go on the run to be safe. And then they'll run off with the money. They'll split up and it'll be fine.
And honestly, Gino and the mob gang will kill her husband.
Right.
They'll find him and kill him and they'll just assume he like buried the money or whatever, right? So they get off scot-free.
Right. However, they don't predict what he is going to do, which is basically, I've been set up, I'm going to let them come, and I am going to accuse Johnny in front of everybody.
Right.
And Jennifer Tilly's just like, yeah, you do that then, I guess. Because like, what else are you going to do? Like, she has no reason why he shouldn't do that if Johnny took the money as she has made him believe.
Right. Yeah, there's nothing other than the truth that would get him to not do that. And the truth probably would get him to kill her, so she's not going to say that.
Right. And she does try to leave. She's like, this is too crazy. I got to go. And he's like, hey, if you're leaving, maybe there's a reason you're trying to leave. And she's just like,
I mean, yeah, there is. It's because you just said you're probably going to kill 2 people, and I don't want to be here for that, so... But she stays because it's kind of implied that he's going to kill her.
He threatens her.
Yeah.
He's going to kill her. He's basically like, maybe you were in on it, maybe you let him in or whatever, which is what happened, but not for who he thinks.
Right. It's Mrs. Steal Yo Girl.
Right.
Who's literally next door.
Literally next door listening. And I love that she calls and they have their hands on the wall on either side and the camera kind of goes over. But she calls and is like, hey, he ain't gonna run. He's gonna try and, I guess, accuse Johnny. Like, I don't fucking know what to do, but like, I'll figure it out, I guess. So who should show up but Gino and Johnny? Oh no. They let them up. And at this point, I was like, how is there almost an hour left of this movie?
Paige, I also paused the movie at that point and I was like, what? Wow, okay.
How have we covered so much, right?
I know. Not that the pacing is bad, mind you. Like, it's good. I was just like, oh shit, there's still a while to go with this.
Because again, this movie is like an hour and 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's not an overly long movie. But at this point, so much has happened. You're like, we must be at the end of the movie.
I know.
And you're like, no, but like, what else is going to happen? Right? So Gino shows up. And again, he calls him Cesare, which I do love.
Yeah.
Gino shows up. They go to like open the money and he starts accusing Johnny and is like, why would you need the key? You came and stole it. And Johnny's like, I legit don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea. And Gino is doing this whole thing of like, you've got to respect Johnny. You can't just be punching him in the nose. But Johnny, you got to stop acting like a fucking idiot. Like,
he's like, you got to stop acting like an asshole. Like, he's not saying that Johnny didn't deserve to get punched, but you can't punch him because he's my son and I run this shit.
Right.
And also, Johnny, stop being a fucking moron. More or less is what he says.
Yes. But he gets Johnny to open the case. And there's no money. And he's like, what the fuck is happening? And he's like, yeah, where is the money, Johnny? Johnny, where is the money? This leads to a standoff with guns. And Gino tries to like diffuse it where he's like, in Italian, don't be stupid, hand me the gun.
Yeah.
And he says it over and over again. Don't be stupid, hand me the gun. And which is, by the way, not subtitled. Italian is just pretty transparent.
Well, he also says, like, we're family or whatever. And then Cesare,
familia.
shoots him in the chest. And then he, like, bends down like he's doing the reverse of that Michael Jackson move where he leans forward super slow.
It's such a cool shot.
It is a great shot. Yeah, it's very, very cool.
But yeah, dame la pistola.
But it's almost like if they could have afforded the rights, we would have heard that big operatic of Ave Maria in that moment because of how slow
Incredible.
it is. And it's just like a gang hit. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah.
But so he shoots him in the chest. He goes down. And then he shoots Christopher Maloney in the fucking dick.
Which he almost did before as he was threatening him. Yeah.
He shoots him in the dick and then shoots him in the chest a couple times.
Yeah.
So now he got 2 fucking dead bodies.
Yeah.
And a couple bullet holes around the apartment because Christopher Maloney got off a couple shots.
I love how they hide the bullet holes later. Like, it's so
good.
You're so lucky because, like, a bullet goes through a picture that they have
right into the wall.
Yeah, and there's like a bunch of pictures on the wall that are all like evenly spaced out, and so they take that one down, and it just so happens that the lamp is just the perfect like size and shape, so it looks like it's supposed to be a lamp there. It's so perfect. It's so funny to me.
It's so funny. But I do love that he shot Gino and Johnny.
Yeah.
And he just keeps shooting after there's no more bullets left in the gun. Like the gun's just clicking.
Yeah.
Almost like he's on autopilot. Like, I don't even know what to do.
Yeah, he also really hates Johnny. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
But at this point, now they got a fucking problem. And he's like, well, Johnny took the money, so if I find the money and the money is here, then Gino and Johnny never showed up and somebody else killed them.
Yeah.
And we'll just make it look like somebody else killed them.
He even names another like family that they might...
The Carpellas.
Yeah. So we could just like start a whole mob war or whatever.
Right.
It's fine.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll just say they got killed by somebody else.
Yeah.
But as they're doing that, the cops showed up because, of course, they heard gunshots. So he's like, just stall the cops as long as you can. So Jennifer Tilly's now on the phone with the cops, who are buzzing up from downstairs.
And she is like slow walking, letting them in because she's going to like buzz them in or whatever.
Yes.
And she's like, you're what? We're cops, ma'am. Can you spell that? C-O-P. Like she's just asking, can you use it in a sentence?
How do I know you're for sure cops?
Yeah.
But he puts the bodies in the bathroom, in the tub, puts the shower curtain around it. The floor is covered in blood. They just pull the rug over it. He wipes some of it up. They move furniture around. They move that lamp in front of the bullet holes.
Yeah.
All in the time that it takes her to distract the cops and then get them upstairs.
It's literally like 3 minutes though, and you see Cypher, and I did look up his name in The Matrix because I was getting it wrong. It's Cypher from The Matrix.
Cypher.
You see him running around cleaning like he's done it before.
But they also do it in real time.
I know.
Incredible.
It's pretty like believable the way it's done, and I realize that's crazy. But all he really does is take the bodies, throw them in the tub, which would be difficult, but he does it pretty quickly. And then with paper towels, or not even paper towels, like towels, cleans up the blood.
It's his suit jacket.
Yeah.
So he's on his knees with a suit jacket and towels, just cleaning up the trail.
Yeah.
Right? The puddle of blood stays. They just put the carpet over it.
I know. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Then he pulls the carpet over it. Yeah. I mean, it's not good forever, but it's good to get the cops in and out quickly if they don't notice.
Right. And then he turns up the TV with like a horror movie with gunshots.
Yeah.
So the cops come in and the TV is super loud. And he's like, I'm so sorry. I'm hard of hearing. They probably heard the TV, and the cops are like, oh, yeah, it's just...
Yeah, he's like, I was born with a bad ear and my hearing aid battery went out this morning. Sorry, I'll get a new battery. And they're like, oh, it makes sense. That's fine. Hey, can I use your John?
Yeah, can I use the bathroom, which is where the bodies are, but they are in the shower. And he just goes, sure, and has the gun at the bar ready to kill these cops just in case.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if that cop had walked in there and like got a little nosy and like just pulled the shower curtain back, he would have killed both of them.
Yep, absolutely.
So, yeah.
But he goes in there, he uses the bathroom, he completely misses the small puddle of blood pooling on the floor under the bathtub.
He was making a small puddle of his own, Paige.
Yes. This entire time, Corky, Gina Gershon, is listening from the other room and moving through the apartment to listen to the different parts of their apartment, which is great.
I did think it was weird that while he was in the bathroom taking a piss, she had her head in the other toilet. I thought that was a little weird. Like, what information was she trying to get out of that?
I think she was trying to see if he found the bodies, because she does track as they're moving the bodies, like where they're...
Yeah.
Anyway, he doesn't find the bodies at all. The other cop steps on the rug and it squishes, which means they would track blood, but they completely miss it.
Yeah.
They leave and they're like, hey, keep some extra batteries around next time. All right, bye. And they just go out into the hallway, into the parking lot.
Yeah, they leave.
Gone. They've gotten rid of the cops.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, because there are more gunshots to come in this movie, but I feel like once they've already been there once...
They know what it is, quote unquote, right? So they're probably not coming back. I had that same thought too.
Yeah.
I was like, it would take a lot for them to come back for a similar call, right?
Right. So they go search Johnny's car, thinking that's where the money might be. Or rather, Caesar searches Johnny's car. Jennifer Tilly knows where the money is. But Caesar has her basically at gunpoint, like, you're in this with me now.
Till death do us part, babe, or whatever. Yeah.
Till death do us part. So they go, they can't find it in the car. He's like, it must be at Johnny's house. They go to Johnny's house. They trash the whole house, which is kind of brilliant.
It works.
Because it helps them out later.
Yeah.
But they can't find the money. And at this point, Caesar's like, I've got to buy more time, because it's only so long before people are going to notice that Gino and Johnny are not where they're supposed to be within their drops for the night.
And they're supposed to be coming directly from the airport to him. So he is the logical person who would call and be like, hey, do you know where they are? Like, they haven't shown up and I've called around, which is more or less what he does.
Right. He calls Mickey and he's like, I haven't seen them. I think something happened. And Mickey is like, wow, I don't know. Okay, stay by your phone. We're going to check things out. We'll find out what's going on. They go back to the apartment. And at this point, they've bought time so that they could basically pack and leave.
Yeah.
Because now they're going to run. But they have to dump the bodies in the lake. He has to get back and shower. They have to figure out what they're going to do. Meanwhile, Jennifer Tilly calls next door to Gina Gershon and is like, please don't quit on me. I don't know what to do, but we will figure something out. He's going to run. It's all good. Don't worry about it. But while she's on the phone, he walks in a fucking terrifying shot that like follows him around the room. So cool.
Yeah.
So cool. And he thinks that she called Mickey, his boss, and is ratting him out. And she's like, no, I didn't.
I haven't yet.
Right? I will later.
Yeah, she does.
And he pistol whips her.
Yeah.
Now, Gina Gershon hears it from the other apartment, is like, oh, hell nah. So she, with her lockpick earrings, breaks into the apartment and threatens to shoot him. And they get into a fight.
Well, she actually sneaks around and he gets the drop on her.
Yes.
And then they do have a fight, but she eventually ends up tied up.
Right. And he's like, what the fuck is happening? But by the time she comes to, Jennifer Tilly, bruised, but at least alive, apparently has told him everything. He's like, I know everything now. I should have seen this coming, but like, and he does say some really awful things about gay people where he's like, you can't trust them. And you're like, that's never a stereotype I've heard, but okay.
Instead of what Caesar said about them as gay people, can I say what my 1940s detective would have said about Corky had they met them in real life?
Let's go.
Corky, she ain't your typical knight in shining armor. More like a knight in oiled-stained jeans with a wrench in one hand and your heart in the other.
Oof, I love that. That perfectly describes Corky.
I'm going to be like picking out the perfect music to lay under these. It's going to be terrible, and I can't wait to like hear it done.
I love it. I'm excited about it. Anyway, at this point, he's now going to kill both of them, but he can't till he has the money.
Right.
But now he knows that they have the money. So he hears a phone call, and he's like, I got to go. But like while I'm answering the phone, you guys stay here. While he goes to answer the phone, they start to try and untie each other. He comes back and is like, no, now I'm going to kill both of you as soon as I figure out where the money is. So he does go next door because Gina Gershon tells him where the money is.
I did like that she just like gives it up. Like it is not worth her losing Jennifer Tilly, which is, listen, they just met. I love that she made that choice though.
Oh yeah. But all this is happening while Mickey has called and he's trying to ignore it. He's got the phone off the hook.
Yeah.
And so he goes next door to try and get the money. He does find it in the paint cans and he's like, cool. But he puts Gina Gershon in the closet. And then as he's trying to deal with Jennifer Tilly, someone comes into the apartment. They sneak into the bathroom. They turn on the shower.
Yeah.
That's now his alibi for why he didn't pick up the phone.
Right.
And he basically is like, all right, I will let you live if you help me get out of this with Mickey.
Right.
So he comes out of the shower and his story is like, hey, I had the phone off the hook. I was so stressed out. Jennifer Tilly and I were having sex because I needed to relax. And they're like, oh, yeah, of course. I mean, like, any chance to have sex with Jennifer Tilly, like, of course.
I mean, later in this movie, Mickey is very clearly offered Jennifer Tilly to, like, either be his wife or a kept woman or something.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. But they have come from Johnny's place. And they're like, yeah, somebody tossed the place. I think something happened and his car is gone. And like something happened to Johnny and Gino.
He'd be like, crazy. They were getting tossed over there too?
I mean, everybody's getting tossed tonight. But so at this point, Jennifer Tilly, because they're asking a lot of questions, they want to open the money. And Jennifer Tilly calls, interrupting them so they don't open the case. And she's like, pretend to Mickey that I am the hospital calling you.
Not the hospital. It's Gino calling from the hospital. She's like, she more or less is like, shut up and pay attention if you don't want to die.
Right.
Like, it's sort of how she says it. And I'm like, fuck yeah, Jennifer Tilly.
She says, I want half and you're going to let me live.
Yes.
Like for half the money, we're going to get rid of them and then we're going to fucking run and keep the money.
Yeah.
So she basically conveys to him, Gino and Johnny got in a car accident. They're at the hospital. We just got to go meet them. Great. So he gives his keys for Mickey and I forget the other guy's name that's there with Mickey to get in the car to go to the hospital. And then they're going to take another car to meet them there. They're just trying to get them out. right?
Yeah, when Jennifer Tilly was like, we're just going to take care of these guys and then we're going to run, I thought she meant kill them.
I thought she did too.
She was much smarter. She was just like, if you tell them the story, they'll leave and then we can just leave, you know? Like,
right.
So that's the plan and they do leave. And the other guy who's with Mickey doesn't really matter. He's like the muscle.
Yeah.
He's like Mickey's muscle and Caesar is like Mickey's like business operator, if that makes sense.
Right. So they go to the hospital, but now Caesar's like, I'm still going to kill you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a shitty dude, right? And so as he's chasing her, because she, brilliant, runs down the stairs. She knows that elevator takes a while. She knows that it's a 10-floor walk up.
Yeah.
So she runs all the way down the stairs and then gets in the elevator and goes back up. And while she's in the elevator, now this is the one unbelievable part of this movie, because she has a cordless phone, not a cell phone, a cordless phone from the house.
I actually think if it was a 2.4 megahertz phone, if she got to like floor 8, it might have worked.
It might have worked. Now, the only reason I doubt this is because, and this is a story from Paige's Italian Family's Dementia Chronicles. My grandmother
I know this
passed a handful of years. Did you hear this from my mom?
I think so. I think she told us this at dinner with your parents came to town. They took Mikey and I out to dinner because they're the best. I think I heard it there.
So my grandmother's dementia diagnosis came my freshman year of high school, which means it's literally as iPhones were just becoming a thing, or freshman year of college. So like it's as iPhones were new. So my grandmother never successfully used a cell phone. It was completely foreign to her. It was not a thing that she ever did. We bought her one because we wanted her to be in touch if something went wrong. And her dementia was a kind of slow burn. Like she had a lot of good years before things really unraveled. But because she'd never used cell phones and she had dementia, she didn't understand how her cordless phone in her house was not the same as basically a cell phone.
I love it.
And so part of the reason she could no longer live alone is because one time we found her wandering, and she had driven all the way to like San Mateo and the police had to find her. It was like a whole thing. That's when we like took her keys and stuff. And they were like, why did you leave that? Do you have a cell phone? And she's like, well, I brought the phone. And she had brought the cordless phone from her house.
Oh, man.
Just in her purse, thinking that she could have used it to call us from like 3 cities away. And it was not, but we laugh about it now. Anyway, so that I was like, ha ha ha, cordless phone. But so she calls Mickey and is like, I didn't want to do it, Mickey. I knew the money was fake, but he said he was going to kill me. It was all his fault. And Mickey's like, of course, you're a perfect angel, Jennifer Tilly. I would never blame you. I'll get him. And she's like, perfect, thank you. So now the mob is going to come after Caesar and she's going to get away scot-free because she ratted him out. Perfect plan. Brilliant.
It really is.
7D chess.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's E chess, Paige. Come on.
It's E chess.
Or is it F? I don't know. It's probably F, honestly.
G? Anyway, so she gets back upstairs. He gets back upstairs. And now everyone's fighting basically to just kill each other.
Yeah. It's a little bit like a Tarantino movie in a way.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is like shifting allegiances and then like a big, like not even 2v2 like standoff. It's like everyone that shows up has possibly different allegiances.
And their own motivations. Yes.
It's cool.
Now, he chases Jennifer Tilly into the secondary apartment that now has paint all over the floor because of the money.
Yeah.
And he's choking her out, but who gets the drop on him? Gina Gershon, who has chewed her or has used the finger cutter to cut her restraints and get free.
The garden shears, they're not, you can't go to like Home Depot and be like, hey, where's your finger cutter aisle? Be like, ma'am, you look so Italian, we can legally not sell that to you.
I did have them as finger cutters everywhere in my notes. And you're right, with my pasta tats and this complexion, I might arouse suspicion.
Yeah. Oh, does your uncle need them? Get out.
She gets free. She gets free. She gets the drop on him. She, however, like tries to fight him. He ends up tackling her. Jennifer Tilly gets the gun.
Yeah.
And he's like, bitch, you'll never shoot me. And she's like, you don't know shit.
I loved that.
You don't know me.
I love that so much because it was like you don't know me at all, motherfucker. And it was like just blasting him and like the blood like shooting out of his body and then landing in the white paint on the floor. It's like, it's beautiful and
so good.
It's great. I love it.
It's so good. It's so good. This movie fucking slaps.
Yeah. These peeps went on to make The Matrix after this. Like, it's so.
Of course.
Yeah. So good.
Dude, if I saw this in 1996, I'd be like, give them all the money. Like,
somebody did, Paige. We'll talk about it.
Clearly, this was made with not a lot of money, and look at what they did. Give them all the money.
Yeah.
But we cut to the empty apartment, now completely refurbed. I assume Corky just finished the job.
I think it might look suspicious otherwise. Like if $2.1 million at the time, 4.5 today, went missing, and the lady who was fixing up the apartment next to where it was stolen was just gone, that would be like a huge red flag. So you got to sort of finish the job out.
Well, and they know that like the mob is looking for Caesar, but Caesar was like their biggest threat. So if Caesar's not going to come after them because he's the only ones that know they have it,
right?
Then why leave? Let the mob take care of it, right?
Exactly.
So we cut to Mickey and Violet, Jennifer Tilly, where Mickey's like, don't worry, we'll get him. Like, but you're safe. Like, the offer still stands, I assume, to be his kept woman. And she gives him a very mouthy kiss.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, thanks for everything. And he's like, don't you worry, we'll get him. He drives away. She turns around. Gina Gershon is waiting there with a brand new truck. And this is where they get into the truck. And she's like, you know what the difference to you and me is?
Not
me
a damn
neither.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. And that's the movie.
So having seen the movie, having talked about the movie, Paige, before I get your final thoughts, can I give you the other 3 that I wrote?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm so sorry I'm doing this.
No, do it.
I meant to say this while we were talking about the heist itself, because the one I wrote for that was possibly my favorite. And it was, pulling a job like this, that ain't love. That's foreplay with a body count.
Ooh, I kind of love that.
Oh, man. Oh, and let me do the one I wrote for Violet. You ready for this? She wore innocence like perfume. Faint, expensive, and gone the second you got too close.
Ooh.
It's like, it's got to be like a little sexy. Anyway, did I already read the one for Caesar?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. He thought he had the world on a string. Too bad it was a fuse, and he never saw the spark.
Ooh,
Boom!
nice.
Sorry, I got bored, and I wanted to write some weird shit.
Those were great. I liked them a lot.
Anyway, I did it so I could drop music in under it.
Do it.
I heard the bit in my head. In fact, Paige, I want to show you. Well, I won't show you, but I'll just read you the title of the video I was playing while I wrote those. 1940s detective investigation, film noir, upbeat jazz ambiance. I went to a YouTube video that's like a 10-hour jazz detective noir soundtrack. It was awesome. Anyway,
yes.
But Paige, what did you think about this movie?
I legit love this movie. I think this is a great movie.
Yeah.
Where to the point where I'm like, more people should talk about this just as a good movie. A lot of people talk about it for its groundbreaking, depictions of lesbian sex on screen. Good.
And they should, because it's done well.
They should.
Yeah, but it's so much bigger than that.
But it's also just a good fucking movie.
Yeah.
It is. And here's the thing. This is, for me, the true mark of, and again, we are all still working towards equitability and equality for representation on screen. And we all still have a long way to go. It is a constant process. We are constantly iterating and working on it. But for me, the way I feel truly equitably represented on screen is when someone includes representation and that's not a story point.
Yeah.
Where it just is. It just exists in the world. And I feel like this movie very much does that, where it's not a coming out story. There's not debate about the identity. There's no insecurity about the identity. It just is within the story, and it is taken for granted within it. And I love that. It's just like, no, we're not questioning it. This is not what the movie's about. This is a mob movie. This happens to be in it. And I love it.
Yeah, I think for all the reasons you just said, that's one of the reasons I liked it so much. I'm a straight white dude, so there isn't anything on screen for me when it's two women having sex, which sounds weird.
Lies.
Because it's like
Lies.
I actually don't it's not for me. I feel weird being not weird gross, weird they have no interest in me being here. I will see myself out. That's what I mean. It's not sexy to me because they don't want me there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, here's what I will say. even as a straight woman, right, where I am not sexually attracted to women in my life, I actually very much appreciate lesbian sex scenes because they are filmed much more from the female gaze.
I'm sure. Well, there are a bunch of straight women who prefer that in their porn, too.
I am one of them sometimes
Yeah.
because it looks like everyone's having a good time and no one's
Yeah.
being assaulted or hurt.
Fair.
Sometimes people can get real violent and it doesn't seem like the ladies are having a good time. And at least usually when it's two ladies, it seems like they're having a good time. But again, as a straight lady, but it's because of the context in which those scenes are depicted and the things that they choose to depict. We'll talk about that a little bit in fun facts, where the sex scenes were filmed very specifically for the female gaze. I really appreciate that.
I love it. I think it's great. There's like a very nuanced point I'd love to like kind of dig into about
You want to talk it out?
the Wachowski siblings, and like I think they did such a good job showing two female characters that were into each other that were not like their love story wasn't the story necessarily, and it was just sort of like you could replace one of them with a male character and it would be more or less the same movie. Does that make sense? Like it doesn't hinge on the fact that they are lesbians at all. Like and I do think especially for the time that is such an interesting and
choice.
Well, not even a choice. I think had it been any other people making this movie, they would have made a choice to more sensationalize that element of it.
Yes. And I appreciate that they did not. I appreciate that they played it very grounded and emotionally real. I love that.
Yes. But Paige, do you have any fun facts for us?
Yes.
Well, it is with your fun facts.
Found up
Tilly's
fun facts. So Jennifer Tilly and Gina Gershon did go full nude for these sex scenes. And they have both talked at length about the process of making them, saying that they actually had an incredibly positive experience filming these sex scenes, and they prefer it to filming sex scenes with men because they did not feel as self-conscious and they felt more collaborative. However, they also made some specific choices with the camera work from the scene. It was a closed set and there are monitors, and the Wachowski siblings had cameras on cranes, and there were specific elements they wanted to capture. So they wanted like the side of a back, then toes and hands, and like curling toes and hands on like crotches, suggestive motion.
Yeah, I mean, you see, I think it's Gina Gershon like grabbing the bed so much with her hand, she pulls up the fitted sheet.
Yep.
And I was like, damn, you know she's getting it good if she's pulling up the fitted sheet.
And then they did my favorite thing that a lot more sex scenes do now, but back in the day they did not do, which is as opposed to just showing nude parts of somebody's body, to focus on someone's face while they are in the throes of ecstasy. And they did that here, and specifically got those shots. They did it in 8 takes, which is actually not a lot. That's pretty fast.
I know, that's great.
Yeah. Now, this movie could not be financed until they had cast at least one of the women, because most of the actresses they approached for the role turned it down because of the lesbian content and nudity. Very few actresses were interested, but one of those actresses was Jennifer Tilly. She was originally cast to play the role of Corky.
Really?
Which seems completely bonkers to me.
It seems opposite type. I bet she could do it, but it's not the type she typically plays.
And there was another actress playing Violet. I don't know who it was. It seems there are conflicting stories, but the actress playing Violet dropped out of the project shortly before shooting began. But that meant that Gina Gershon was available and was originally supposed to play Violet, which also makes sense. Gina Gershon has played a mob wife many times. She is fantastic at it. See Face Off.
Yeah, she could totally do it. Yeah.
Right? But she and the rest of the crew believed that she was better suited to Corky, so they switched roles with only a few weeks to go for filming.
That's crazy.
Now, Jennifer Tilly has said on multiple occasions that Violet was the best role she ever had. And I agree, because I feel like this role lets her actually act and do things that most people don't allow her to do in roles.
I mean, she's doing a great job in this movie.
Yeah.
Although I don't have any Jennifer Tilly complaints in any movie, but
I feel like people always cast her as the bombshell, and she elevates every script with her performance.
I agree.
But people don't always give her a lot to do. I think she makes things for herself to do within a role. And I would say that the Chucky movies actually do give her a lot to do, but a lot of her other films, not so much. But this gave her a whole lot to do, and I loved it. Now, they did not have a lot of money when it came to choosing songs. They had wanted to use The Girl from Ipanema and a lot of Frank Sinatra songs because mob, but they couldn't afford to. So that's why there's actually a startling lack of music in this movie, period.
That's true. Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. Now, this was the movie that convinced people to fund The Matrix.
That does not at all surprise me. Yeah.
Which, by the way, they were writing as they were making this movie because they had come up with the idea when filming their first film or their first screenplay, Assassins, in 1995, the year before this.
Yeah.
And so they were fleshing the Matrix script out as they were making this. This came out. People were like, holy shit, give these people money. And they're like, if you want to give us money, here's what you should give us money for, is The Matrix. So Gina Gershon also, after coming on, recommended Joe Pantoliano for the role of Caesar. And he does a great job in this too.
Yes. And then ends up in The Matrix. So like Gina Gershon might be the reason he's Cypher in The Matrix, because they might have met him on, this movie.
Yeah. And when they were trying to fund this movie, not only were actors not really interested, which, God, what a missed opportunity to be in this, because this movie's so good. But when they were trying to get funding from studios, they told the Wachowskis that if they changed the character of Corky to a man, they'd fund the movie.
Of course
and the Wachowskis declined, saying, quote, yeah, right? They said, quote, that movie's been made 1 million times and we're not really interested in it. And they're fucking right, because this is way better.
Yeah. I mean, had they done that, it would have been like, and I like this movie, but like Confidence. Have you seen Confidence?
No, you love Confidence. It's a movie I have never seen.
I wouldn't say I love it. It's fine. I mean, I like it. I haven't watched it in probably maybe 7 years, but yeah. But it would be like that. It's like a guy and a girl pulling a con together. It's like that kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
And there are 1,000 of those movies. They're absolutely right. I'm super happy we have this instead of that.
Yeah. And I'm really glad that the people who made this movie went against everyone who told them not to, because Gina Gershon said her own agent told her that making this film was a huge mistake and would hurt her career because of the lesbian content and because the Wachowski siblings were first-time directors. And Gina Gershon ignored them, did the movie, and then fired her agent. Good for you, girl.
Well, I mean, their agent turned out to be right when the Wachowski siblings' next movie became the biggest movie ever.
Right?
What an idiot.
Right? Now, we talked a little bit about the ratings board.
Yeah.
When they took the first cut to the ratings board, they instantly got an NC-17, which also, fuck them.
They were like, they're from the island of Lesbos? Give it an NC-17.
And the Wachowskis argued back and said, this is homophobia, because when they strategically shot those sex scenes where it's hands, feet, face, there is actually almost no real nudity in this movie. Even though they went full nude, it is all covered. You didn't see any genitalia, you saw hands. But because Jennifer and Gina are good actors, you kind of don't notice that you didn't actually see anything.
I think there's one shot where you see Gina Gershon like naked.
Naked, but you don't see any nipples. You don't see any genitalia.
You certainly don't see genitalia for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. The Wachowskis argued and they were like, they're good actors. The sex scene was so good, you thought it was more, quote, salacious than it was. And they said, so if they weren't such good actors, you would have let this go through? And the MPAA was like, yeah, kind of. So they actually did have to trim the movie. And so it was they think it was take 7 where a camera accidentally slipped and missed a shot of Jennifer Tilly's hand. So it cut out of frame before her hand got to the crotch.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, they were really kind of bummed, but in the perfect take, quote, you couldn't see boobs, you could only see side boobs, and you could see the hand over the crotch, but it looks a little more graphic, breasts touching breasts but not visible.
Right.
And the one that they made them cut in was a lot more boob than anything else. And Jennifer Tilly has said, I felt like that was actually way more graphic than the take we wanted to use.
I bet it was. It was just more like for the guys or whatever, you know?
Right.
And that's what the MPAA wants. That's why I made the joke about like the MPAA sending back the note of like, well, it's not a sex scene unless there's a guy fucking them, right? Like this is just like lewd or whatever because they're so dumb.
Yeah. Jennifer Tilly said, quote, because you missed the hand but you gained a breast, it was okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, right? It's some serious bullshit. Both Gina Gershon and Jennifer Tilly did say that they did take tequila shots before filming the sex scene. And I'll end on this one because it touches Horror Virgin. This film is mentioned in dialogue in Seed of Chucky 2004, which we have actually not done. That's the next Chucky movie to the one that we've done, in which Jennifer Tilly plays herself and also plays the doll.
Awesome.
And when she's asked about Gina Gershon in the film, she answers that they remained friends after they finished working on this movie. Notably, the Seed of Chucky, also non-binary.
Okay.
We'll get to it eventually.
Is that because they're a puppet? I don't know.
No. It's like a story point.
Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Chucky, get down. Chucky woke. It's great.
I didn't realize Chucky was woke. I mean, that's great.
It's awesome. Go for Chucky. And those are your fun facts.
Well, Paige, thank you for those fun facts. Let's talk a little bit about box office. So what do you think the production budget was for Bound in 1996?
I think this cost them $2 million.
It cost a little bit more than that. It's still pretty low budget, though, even for the time. It was $4.5 million.
That's still really low.
Yeah.
This looks great for $4 million.
It really does. I really do think they spent that money on, I think the sets look great, but there's legit 3 of them. So I think they spent...
And talent.
Yeah, I think they spent the majority of it on talent. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do think that at least the apartment sets are like a soundstage somewhere.
Yes, 100%.
Because the crane shot that goes over, so it's definitely not like a house or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, but Paige, this movie came out the weekend of October 4th, 1996. And it was number 11th the weekend it came out.
Not surprised.
Yeah. To put it in perspective of like what was out at the time, First Wives Club was number 1 that week. The Glimmer Man was number 2. You Doing That Thing You Do, Paige, was number 3. D3, The Mighty Ducks, was number 4. And Extreme Measures was number 5. And then there were like 6 movies, and the 6th after the 5th, making 11th, is Bound. What do you think it made in its opening weekend, though, Paige?
I'm going to say opening weekend at 11th, this makes maximum $1 million. But here's what I will also say. I think this is one of those movies that does not do well in its theatrical release, in part because of content and the time.
I was gonna say subject matter in 96, yeah.
Right, but sometimes those movies come out and the industry notices, and that's what happened with this one.
100%.
So it doesn't really matter that this didn't make a ton of money because the industry was like, this movie good though.
Right.
So yeah, I'm going to say about $1 million.
Yeah, you're really close with that guess, Paige. It was $900,000.
Yeah.
10th that weekend was a movie called Bulletproof, and that's definitely what I saw that weekend.
I saw that thing no, I didn't see that thing you do in theaters. I was too young. We got it once it came out of theaters. My dad immediately bought the VHS.
I definitely got taken to go see Bulletproof. That's Damon Wayans and Adam Sandler, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Independence Day was also in theaters this weekend. It was
fuck yes.
96 is a pretty good year. Anyway, it was in theaters for 12 weeks total, but was never above 11th place. In fact,
yeah,
it sort of never trended up, really. But what do you think it made total domestically at the box office, Paige?
I bet this makes $2.5 million.
It did a little bit better than that, actually. It was $3.8 million.
Oh, good.
So it didn't quite make its budget back, but it did get an international release where it did not quite as good, but almost as good. Another $3.2 million. So it did make $7 million, which I think for the subject matter and for the time is pretty wonderful.
Yes.
Especially because there was probably no marketing push behind it.
I doubt it.
Yeah, so I do think that, man, this is a great movie, and if I saw this movie and had $65 million to invest in The Matrix, I would definitely give it to them because their next project went on to make and I was being accurate when I said it was a $65 million budget. It went on to make 466.2 worldwide. Like they know what they're doing. And this movie, Bound, proves it.
Incredible.
But Paige, that's your box office. Do you want to hit us with that romance scale?
Our romance scale is a scale of how romantic we found this movie on a scale of 1 to 4. Todd.
I'm going to give it a 1 because it's not super romantic. It's just people conning other people. I have a different score for the roar scale, which we'll get to.
Yeah. What's your roar scale?
I'm going to give it a 3.
Same.
I'll even say this. There's the scene where she's getting the earring out of the U-pipe, and it's shot as she's like turning.
Her hands?
Yeah, her hands. I was like, that kind of
yeah.
looks sexy. And she's literally just like twisting a pipe.
She got that good hand porn. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 3 as well.
Yeah, that's fair. What did you give it on the romance scale? Sorry if you said it, I missed it.
1 as well, because I like a good mob movie. At the end, I'm still questioning people's motives.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I do think we don't see any real romance. All we see is Jennifer Tilly bang Gina Gershon so hard that Gina Gershon is willing to give up her life for her. So, yeah.
I do wish them well, though.
Oh, yeah. Me too. And I do think they give it a shot. Like, if I was banging, like, if I had just met Natalie and we started fooling around and, like, a week later we pulled off this heist together and she, like, could have left with $4.5 million but didn't, I'd be like, there may be something about this really cool hot chick that I just now, like, got $4.5 million with. Like, let's see where this goes, you know?
Let's see where this goes. Yeah.
I definitely would ride that relationship out.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Natalie would have got a way bigger ring. Anyway, Paige.
That's our romance and roar scales.
Yeah. So this week, you made everybody watch Bound. Next week, we're going to change things up a little bit and watch a movie from 1991 that was perhaps ahead of its time. I don't know. I haven't seen it. We'll see it next week. But I've heard a lot about it, but not a lot of people have seen it. And that is a Keanu Reeves River Phoenix vehicle, My Own Private Idaho. So that's your homework for next week. Watch My Own Private Idaho and then report back for that episode.
Hey, do you have any reviews for us, Todd?
I do. This week, I'm going to read one of our Spotify comments from our Love Lies Bleeding episode that came out most recently. And I'm going to read this one from Annie Lean. And they say, I absolutely love this podcast and Horror Virgin, by the way. Me and my 1-year-old, listen to it during the day. Don't worry, she's being raised in my mother tongue. So it's just background noise. Okay, that had me concerned because we do cuss sometimes. But they go on to say, but whenever the song comes on, she does this little dance and it's so cute and hilarious.
Aw, cute.
Thank you for keeping this stay-at-home mom company during the day and making me laugh with every intro. So Annie Lean, thank you so much for that awesome Spotify comment. And if you want to have me read your Spotify comment or 5-star Apple review, leave us one of those things and I'll do just that. So yeah, if you guys like this show and want to hear our other show where we talk about horror movies, that is The Horror Virgin. That's the only other podcast I am on, but Paige is also on Cult Podcast, which you can find at Cult Podcast. And you can find us on social media. I am at Todd J. Awesome, literally everywhere. Paige is at Paige Wesley on Instagram.
No, it's at Rampage Wesley on Instagram and TikTok, at Paige Wesley on Twitter.
That's right. All right. So that's where you can find Paige. If you want to find the show, we are at Romancing the Pod Show, right?
Yep. Romancing Pod Show on Twitter.
Well, and Instagram, right?
And Instagram, but it's show SHO because character limits. If you start typing Romancing the Pod, it'll come up.
It'll definitely come up on Instagram. I don't know about Twitter because I haven't posted on Twitter in a hot ass minute. So like, who knows? But that is where you can find more of us. So yeah, guys, give us a follow. Support the show any way you can. We'd love it.
Smash that like button.
Hell yeah.
That's going to be it for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
And I'm Todd.
And you complete us.
To completion. Bye.
More lesbian mob movies.
Let's do it, nerds.
Find all the lesbian mob movies and send them to us.